Good evening, everybody. How are you today? I don't know, it looks different somehow. And I don't, oh no, it's still all the same. So, wow, that's very different today. Okay, that's good. How are you all doing this evening? Again, it is me this evening, c'est moi. And I have tried to create a little bit of a different surrounding again because, yes, I know I'm live now. My screen is saying that I'm live, and I know I'm live now because I can see myself on the camera. So I created a different atmosphere again. I've got new music because it's a spice of life, isn't it? Or something like that. So let's see. Oh, I've got one view already. I'm going to share. I'm going to see what happens. No, it's not going to do it again. It's so annoying when this happens. I swear. When you want to share something and instead, oh, I'll turn this music down. And sometimes you want to share to a group and it gives you a list of groups, and so you just click on and you go click, 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 share, 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 share. And then other times it just doesn't let you, Other times it doesn't let you do that, and it only gives you one group at a time. And then if I did it like that, it would take me 20 hours to share everything. It's just not fair. Sharing a group, no, it's not going to work again. Oh well, I'll have to do it later. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to my couch in my living room. Normally I sit on the other side of the room by the fire and move a chair over and make it all nice and sassy looking. But today I decided that having the chair and moving all that stuff, I'm going to move it around, I can't get comfortable. Moving all that stuff around was going to be too annoying, and I just wanted to get cozy on my couch with you this evening. And I did today, at least bring over my little Aladdin's lamp. And I put my favorite, this picture is very beautiful actually, you know. I did a show at the Theater Drachengasse called The Who and the What. And we made the whole theatre space into the apartment by hanging pictures up on all the walls in the theatre, even in the auditorium where the cast was sitting. And I had been looking for some art to put up, and a lady was looking after some artwork, a friend was looking after some artwork for this lady, and this was one of the pictures. And I loved it so much. We hung that up in the auditorium during the show. And at the end of it, I said, oh, I love this picture so much. And she said, well, I do believe my neighbour wants to get rid of some of her pictures. I can ask if you like, and maybe she'll give it to you. And so I have no idea who painted it or where it is from, but it is one of my favourite paintings. It's very, very simple. And normally it leans up on the radiator actually in my dining room area. So I hope you are all doing very well this evening. It's lovely to read for you today. Hi Susan, it's very lovely to see you online. I am going to start straight away and start with the 179th night, which is where we left off yesterday with Shahrazad, telling the story of Kamar al-Zaman, and there's an Ifrit in this story again. So you can imagine, so I'm trying to get comfy. So you can imagine that this story might end up going, no, that's not right either. This story is great, having a big couch that you can move around on and try and get comfy on. So you can imagine that this story with the Ifrit might not end up going too well, because those Ifrits have a tendency to create mayhem. So let's see how we go on, shall we? Now, when it was the 179th night, Scheherazade said, "It had reached me, O auspicious king, that the Ifrit, Danash bin Shamhurish, said to the Ifritah Maymunah, of a truth, I cut short my praises, fearing lest I be tedious." Now, when Maymunah heard the description of that princess and her beauty and loveliness, she stood silent in astonishment. Whereupon Danash resumed, "The father of this fair maiden is a mighty king, a fierce knight, immersed night and day in fray and fight, for whom death hath no fright, and the escape of his foe no dread. For that he is a tyrant masterful, and a conqueror irresistible, lord of troops and armies and continents and islands and cities and villages, and his name is King Gayur, lord of the islands and of the seas and of the 7 palaces. Now he loveth his daughter, the young maiden, whom I have described to thee, with dearest love, and for affection of her, he hath heaped together the treasures of all the kings, and built her therewith 7 palaces, each of a different fashion. The first of crystal, the second of marble, the third of china steel, the fourth of precious stones and gems of price, the fifth of porcelain and many-hued onyxes and ringed bezels, the sixth of silver and the 7th of gold. And he hath filled the 7 palaces with all sorts of sumptuous furniture, rich silken carpets and hangings, and vessels of gold and silver, and all manner of gear that kings require, and hath bidden his daughter to abide in each by turns for a certain season of the year. And her name is the Princess Budur. Now, when her beauty became known, and her name, fame, were bruited abroad in the neighbouring countries, all the kings sent to her father to demand of her hand in marriage. And he consulted her on the matter, but she disliked the very word wedlock with a manner of abhorrence, and said, "O my father, I have no mind to marry. No, not at all. For I am a sovereign lady and a queen, serene, ruling over men, and I have no desire for a man who shall rule over me." And the more suits she refused, the more her suitors' eagerness increased, and all the royalties of the inner islands of China sent presents and rarities to her father, with letters asking her in marriage. So he pressed her again and again with advice on the matter of espousals, but she ever opposed to him refusals, till at last she turned upon him angrily and cried, "O my father, if thou name matrimony to me once more, I will go into my chamber and take a sword, and fixing its hilt to the ground, will set its point to my waist, where I will press upon it till it come forth from my back, and so slay myself." Now, when the king heard these words, the light became darkness in his sight, and his heart burned for her as with a flame of fire, because he feared lest she should kill herself, and he was filled with perplexity concerning her affair, and the king's, her suitors. So he said to her, "If thou be determined not to marry, and there be no help for it, abstain from going and coming in and out." Then he placed her in a house and shut her up in a chamber, appointing 10 old women as duennas to guard her and forbade her to go forth to the 7 palaces. Moreover, he made it appear that he was incensed against her, and incensed, and sent letters to all the kings, giving them to know that she had been stricken with madness by the jinns, and it is now a year since she hath thus been secluded. Then continued the Ifrit Danash, addressing the Ifritah Mainumah, and I, O my lady, go to her every night, and I take my fill of feeding on her sight and face, and I kiss her between the eyes. Yet of my love to her do I her no hurt, neither mount her, for that her youth is fair, and her grace surpassing. Every one who seeth her jealous of himself for her. I conjure thee therefore, O my lady, to go back with me, and look on her beauty, and loveliness, and stature, and perfection, and of portion, and after, if thou wilt, chastise me or enslave me, and win to thy will, for it is thine to bid and to forbid. So saying, the Ifrit Danash bowed his head towards the earth and drooped his wings downwards. But Maymunah laughed at his words and spat in his face and answered, What is this girl of whom thou prattest, but a potsherd wherewith to wipe off making water? Excuse me, everybody. Foe! Foe! By Allah, O accursed, I thought that thou hadst some wondrous tale to tell me, or some marvellous news to give me. How would it be if thou were to sight my beloved? Verily, this night I have seen a young man, whom if thou saw, though be in a dream, thou wouldst be palsied with admiration, and spittle would flow from thy mouth. Asked the Ifrit, and who and what is this youth? And she answered, Know, O Danash, that there hath befallen the young man the like of what thou tellest me befell thy mistress. For his father pressed him again and again to marry, but he refused. Till at length his sire waxed wroth at being opposed, and imprisoned him in the tower where I dwell. And I came up tonight and saw him. Said Danash, O my lady, shew me this youth, that I may see if he be indeed handsomer than my mistress, the Princess Budur, or not. For I cannot believe that the like of her liveth in our age. Rejoined Mainumah, Thou least, O accursed, O most ill-omened of marrieds and vilest of Satans, sure am I that the like of my beloved is not in this world. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say. I'm going to read one more night for y'all. When it was the 180th night. Hi, Katerina. Hi, Sabina. Hi, the person whose name I am so sorry. I do apologize, but I don't speak Arabic and I can't say who you are, but hello, all of you. And welcome to my reading of 1001 Arabian Nights. My name is Joanna Godwin Seidl. I am the director of Vienna Theatre Project, and I am reading for you this evening. And we are now reaching the 180th night. And by the way, this is a bit of a milestone. We only have 20 more nights to go, and then we are on the 200th night, and then we only have 801 more nights to go. Isn't that amazing? So Here we go. Let's find out what's going to happen in this story, shall we? She said, "It hath reached me, O auspicious king, that the Ifritah Maimunah spake thus to the Ifrit Danash. Sure am I that the like of my beloved is not in this world. Art thou mad to fellow thy beloved with my beloved?" He said, "Allah upon thee, O my lady, go back with me and look upon my mistress, and after I will return with thee and look upon thy beloved." She answered, "It must needs be so, O accursed, for thou art a knavish devil. But I will not go with thee, nor shalt thou come with me, save upon condition of a wager, which is this: if the lover thou lovest, and of whom thou boastest so bravely, prove handsomer than mine, whom I mentioned, and whom I love, and whom I boast, the bet shall be thine against me. If my beloved prove the handsomer, the bet shall be mine against thee." Quoth Danash the Ifrit, "O my lady, I accept this thy wager, and I am satisfied thereat, so come with me to the islands." Quoth Maimunah, "No, for the abode of my beloved is nearer than the abode of thine. Here it is, under us. So come down with me to see my beloved, and after we will go look upon thy mistress." "I hear and I obey," said Danash. So they descended to earth and alighted in the saloon, which the tower contained. Then Maimunah stationed Danash beside the bed, and putting out her head, drew back the silken coverlet. Excuse me, I've just got to, this music's annoying me. So, there we go. And drew back the silken coverlet from Kamar al-Zaman's face. When it glittered and glistened and shimmered and shone like the rising sun, she gazed at him for a moment, then turning sharply round upon Danash, said, "Look, O accursed, and be not the basest of madmen. I am a maid, yet my heart he hath waylaid." So Danash looked at the prince, and long continued gazing steadfastly on him. Then, shaking his head, said to Maimunah, "By Allah, O my lady, thou art excusable, but there is yet another thing to be considered, and this is that the estate of female differeth from the male. By Allah's might, this thy beloved is the likest of all created things to my mistress in beauty and loveliness and grace and perfection, and it is as though they were both cast alike in the mould of seemly head." Now, when Maimunah heard these words, the light became darkness in her sight, and she dealt him with her wings so fierce a buffet on the head as well nigh made an end of him. Then quoth she to him, "I conjure thee, by the light of his glorious countenance, go at once, O accursed, and bring hither thy mistress, whom thou lovest so fondly and foolishly, and return in haste, that we may lay the twain together and look on them both as they lie asleep, side by side. So shall it appear to us which be the goodlier and more beautiful of the two. Except thou obey me this very moment, O accursed, I will dart my sparks at thee with my fire and consume thee. Yes, in pieces. I will rend thee into the desert, cast thee, that to stay at home and wayfare as an example thou be." Quoth Danash, "O my lady, I will do thy behests, for I know for sure that my mistress is the fairer and the sweeter." So saying, the Ifrit flew away, and Maymunah flew with him to guard him. They were absent a while, and presently returned, bearing the young lady, who was clad in a shift of fine Venetian silk, with a double edging of gold, and purified with the most exquisite of embroidery, having these couplets worked upon the ends of the sleeves. 3 matters hinder her from visiting us in fear of hateful, slandering, envier, and his hired spies, the shining light of brow, the trinkets, tinkling voice, and scent of essences that tell whene'er she hies. Gin that she had her brow with edge of sleeve and leave, at home her trinketry. How shall her scent disguise? And Danash and Maymunah stinted not bearing that young lady till they had carried her into the saloon and laid her beside the youth Kamar al-Zaman. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say. So, there you go, my friends. Thank you very much for listening in this evening. It was a pleasure to read for you, as usual. I always say that, and it's always true. I hope you stay safe. Many blessings. Look after yourselves. And either I or Saman will tune in to read for you tomorrow. And don't forget that on Thursday, Salahuddin will be reading poetry to you in Arabic, French, and English. So do take care. Look after yourself. Many blessings. And salam. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Hi, Dunya. Dunya, I'm just about to leave. Hello, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye. Take care. You can watch it again all day long. Repeat, repeat, repeat afterwards. Have a lovely evening. Sweet dreams. Bye-bye.